Is your work as an actor sustainable? Let's look at 4 key challenges that you as actors face. First of all, the challenge of chasing after work. You get frustrated because you want to work, but there's so little work. There are so many actors and so few roles. What's so special about you to get that role? Then the challenge of juggling your performative life and your everyday life. You channel your energy and desire to create a powerful role, but in trying to stay focused, your important relationships feel you distancing yourself from them. Then there's the challenge of sustaining your creative expression. With that lingering self-doubt about your ability as a working actor, you constantly worry, am I doing this role right? Am I letting the team down? And then the challenge of losing confidence. The greatest stress to your confidence comes from being a performer but not performing. You feel the shame and the rejection, and these feelings fuel your self-doubt regarding your abilities as an actor. You feel like an imposter. Now, I believe that to counter each of these challenges, you need to know how to firstly rekindle personal trust, that you can competently and compassionately manage your life and your work rather than ignore or deny fear that manifests as self-doubt, judgment, and self-sabotage. That you can enhance professional recognition. You work from your unique strengths rather than being compared and judged alongside other creatives. That you establish recurring income. That you can attract and secure ongoing, financially appropriate work across various outworkings of your creative uniqueness. And that you can cultivate a quality of life. You can develop a strategic process across all stages of performance that is both sustainable for yourself and respectful of others. I believe it's this capacity to identify, celebrate, and invest in your creative uniqueness that can transform you from feeling fraudulent to becoming genuine, from feeling trapped to becoming empowered, and from feeling drained to becoming joyful. Now, I believe that this matters to you because at a personal level, owning, embracing, and celebrating your uniqueness is actually the starting point and core of personal, interpersonal, and communal well-being. And then at an interpersonal level, we actually need each other as part of the process of self-affirmation and care, as new meanings and possibilities emerge between us in the here and now. And then in the workplace, acknowledging the realities of demanding workplaces is indeed essential to care and respect within those places. And finally, across the industry, you appreciate that your work is valuable, but only one part of having an enduring, rewarding, and sustainable life. Now, I care very much about seeing you live out these values because for many years I neglected my own unique worth. Instead, I tried to constantly please and placate others and just fit in. For 7 years, I stayed in a violent and increasingly abusive relationship, believing that by trying to be either a rescuing hero or a loyal martyr in that relationship, that I could turn things around. But the chief violence was actually against myself and a failure to recognise and honour my own innate worth. And I discovered that by recovering my sense of who I uniquely am and owning and celebrating it, I experienced the empowerment to actually break out of that trappedness and that violation. So, recovering your creative uniqueness, I believe, will enable you to find new ease in recognition and appreciation of your uniqueness so that you don't have to constantly prove yourself. That will empower you to be more of yourself in both personal relationships and professional relationships. That you'll be able to create a new context for securing recurring, rewarding acting opportunities with roles that extend your ability, that connect to others, and that don't leave adverse after effects. And finally, that it will inspire you to create and contribute to work that is engaging and that transforms the lives of people. Now, if you don't make this shift, you'll continue to experience the stress of chasing after the scarcity of roles. And even if you're lucky enough to get a job, your sense of self-worth may teeter on the edge of feeling only as good as your last role. Indeed, you'll remain so focused on trying to make it that you'll lose the people that you care about, that makes making it worthwhile. And you'll continue to ride the roller coaster of emotions and never have time for ease and rest. And that validation of your capacity as an actor will still feel beyond your grasp. But if you choose to make a shift, you break free from the vicious cycle of comparison and commodification. You get to choose what work you do and what relationships matter most to you. You get to say no to overwhelm and yes to rest and recovery time. You get to give of yourself in a way that is both rewarding for you and valued by others that matter to you. So here's what you need to do, I believe, to live and work out of your innate creative uniqueness. Firstly, you need to recover your uniqueness. Indeed, you need discernment and clarity about what you do at your best, how you do it, and why you do it. This is what makes you unique. Then you need to be able to embody your uniqueness. Indeed, your uniqueness needs to be known and felt, not just in your head, but in your heart and your whole body. In fact, psychiatrist Bessel van der Kolk observes, and I quote, "Physical self-awareness is the first step in releasing the tyranny of the past." So when you've been trapped by past expectations and fears of rejection in seeking acting work, then reconnecting to your embodied experience as a unique creative is invaluable. Then you can adapt your uniqueness. You can deepen and broaden your creative capacity, not just in acting work, but in adapting your creative uniqueness to all sorts of other work environments. This is important because in one survey it was found that 40% of professional actors were not earning on average more than $10,000 a year over several years from acting work. So I believe there's no shame in being proactive and applying your creative uniqueness to other work contexts while still pursuing acting opportunities as they become available. Then you need to generate your uniqueness. You can actively give expression to your uniqueness through your own ventures, as well as partnering with others in their uniqueness to do things that impact individuals or communities, societies, even the world. And finally, you need to integrate your uniqueness. Because your uniqueness is an expression of your whole self, I believe that that self needs to practice negotiating the inevitable ups and downs of life in a way that is both sustainable and flourishing. Now, as you are right now, your creativity is possibly hampered and sabotaged by wavering self-worth. There's that feeling that you are an imposter. And then the intense ups and downs of temporary work and the stress from all the uncertainty adversely impacts you, as well as your personal and professional relationships. So it's time that you are inspired and courageous in your creative uniqueness, that you are no longer trapped in playing the games of comparison and commoditization, and that you can gracefully transition between your professional and everyday life and sustain your valued relationships. So the choice is yours. In recovering your creative uniqueness, I believe that you can now rest in the recognition and appreciation of your uniqueness with ease. You can take on roles that both extend you and that touch and connect with others. You can be more truly yourself in connection with personal and professional relationships. And by reconnecting to playfulness and the wisdom of your body, you'll recover an agility empowered by your innate vulnerability, in turn that's upheld by courage and compassion. So your creative uniqueness ecosystem could be your next step. If so, I invite you to book a 30-minute discovery call with me, Dr. Mark Seaton, to help you evaluate if your creative uniqueness program may be, in fact, the next step in empowering you in your creative journey.